This is Tabletop Weekly, and we are the partners of Solarian Games.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Jason. And our stories for this week. There is a PDF reader that's been made just for TTRPGs. What could that mean? There is a cool new legal book called The Magical Code of Regulations. We're going to talk about playing text adventures in the year 2026, and specifically about a game called Eamon. And the 2026 ENNIE Award nominees have been announced.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's start off with this PDF reader. So this is a thing called Scriptorium. And full disclosure right at the start, I was hoping to give it a chance, to give it a try myself. And it turns out this thing is surprisingly only available for Windows and Linux.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I went to install it on my Mac, and I guess the developer has a Windows machine or something.
Right.
There is a very easy way to run Windows games and programs on a Mac. It is a thing called whatever. I forget what the tool is called, but the point is there's a very easy tool to do this with. Tried it with that, didn't work. The developer did something really unusual about this, that it's not a typical thing. So unfortunately, what we're going to have to go on is what they have to say about it. So fair enough.
Okay.
But anyways, over in the TTRPG subreddit, the developer of Scriptorium announced this. It's free, it's open source, and runs locally. So all good stuff. You know, this isn't some
Yeah.
cloud thing that you pay a subscription for.
That
It's
could
a
just go away.
Yeah. I'm going to say one more thing about it. He did say that he did some vibe coding on this. Now, I'm not against vibe coding.
Right.
I know that's AI. I don't think it's the same as generative AI in my book. But I'm thinking maybe that's one of the reasons I couldn't get it to behave normally when it came to running it as a like in wine, on the Mac.
Right.
So just buyer beware. If you want your money back, it's free, so you'll get your money back if it doesn't work. But
You get what you
but
pay
anyways, the concept's good. I think it's worth talking about and worth checking out. So what he said, and I'm assuming it was a he. I sorry if it's not, but you know what? You vibe coded, so I'm gonna just call you a he.
We're gonna vibe gender you. No.
There you go. I vibe gendered you. Oh my God, that's gonna be a phrase. I guarantee it.
It's gotta be.
So he created this tool to solve common performance problems with traditional PDF readers. Now, and that's true. There are problems. You use a PC, right?
I do. Yeah.
Right. So what do you usually open PDFs in?
Adobe Acrobat.
Yeah, is that the default thing that just opens up? It's not a Windows viewer?
It can be, but I hate using the Windows viewer because I have Acrobat Pro because I have a subscription. I prefer just opening up in its own native program. It's just more you can do with it because every time I open one, I want to like do stuff with it. So, well, I mean, not every time, but a lot of times. So
there's a lot more you can do, a lot more tools there.
So I mean, because I use it for work all the time. So I'm like, nope, I want to open it up in the native program.
That's fair. That's fair. And Mac Preview is the native program, or not the native program, the default program. And it's fine, whatever. I often go into Acrobat as well, but these are big, bloated apps, and they're not specifically made for one type of thing. So, sometimes, I get a little bit frustrated trying to use these things. So it's nice to see that off the bat. Some of the things that he was concerned with was slow page loading when you're flipping through really quickly, which that's so frustrating because especially on the Mac, it's always trying to be like, oh, let me make it pretty for you. I don't need pretty. I need fast, know? And just generally a more versatile tool. So here's some of the things that it claims to do, and I cannot verify these claims. First of all, PDF organization. Now, this is a good one. Letting people view and organize their rule books using different folders and tags, things that are actually meant for gamers. So,
right.
Being able to go by genre, by author, by...
Right.
I mean, I know other things can do that, but in the gaming world, it's a little bit different. So I think that's pretty neat. And then here's a really important one, is the multi-view mode. So that you can open and view multiple rulebooks side by side simultaneously.
Dude, that's awesome.
It is.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
Because, I mean, technically you can do that in
Yeah.
preview and stuff, open two different
Sure.
windows and put them side by side and mess
Yeah.
around with it, but it's not naturally set up that way. So
Mhm.
just the fact that he thought about that, because you are always doing that, right? You got your monster
Yes.
manual
Oh
and
my
your player's
God.
handbook. You got
Yes.
your weapons versus your DM
Dude,
guide, whatever it
what if
is.
you got your adventure open and you're running through and
Right.
like they have the monster listed, but you want the one from the monster manual because you want to do more with it or something, something to that
Hmm.
effect, right? Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally see that.
And even if you're running multiple monitors, like let's say you're running an online game and you've got two PDFs open, maybe you have three monitors, right? Maybe you got your
Mhm.
central monitor to run your VTT, and then
Yeah.
each of the other monitors has a different book on it when you're not using this. Okay,
Right.
that's fine, but you're constantly moving your mouse back and forth and trying to
Yeah.
remember where you were and you've lost focus. And it's not what you want to do when you're trying to focus on actually running the game.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously the best way to do it is to have real books in front of you, but that's not always what you're doing.
Right.
Okay, then annotations and bookmarks. So quick view bookmarks that don't lose the user's current place.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? I mean, I'm in
Yeah.
the adventure. I want to quickly look over and check a reference and then get back to where I was. That alone, right there, that's great.
Hmm. Right.
Text highlighting and a screenshot tool that converts captures into actual usable annotations.
Ooh.
This is also sounding like something that you might want to be able to use in an academic environment.
Oh, yeah, sure.
A lot
Absolutely.
of similarities there.
Hmm.
This is a really cool one. A GM screen builder, an interactive board where GMs can import their PDF screenshots, add custom text blocks, track initiative, and use quick dice rollers to build a customized digital GM screen.
Nice. I like
That's
that.
so neat.
This is all sounding good.
I love that. Campaign management. Okay, now it's getting a little bit beyond just being a PDF reader. It's talking about organizing specific PDFs and customized GM screens by their associated campaign. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think maybe a little bit too much stuff, but all right. And then privacy and local data. Everything's offline. No data on the internet. That's good.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it says here, highly recommended for tablet and Linux users. A Windows version has also been released, but it's not currently optimized for mobile phones. I have not had a
Mm.
chance to look at this for tablet users. Maybe I'm a GitHub dummy. I didn't really understand how I would go to GitHub and get an app that I could put on an iPad.
Dude, I am a complete GitHub moron. I don't know how to
Yeah.
do it. I got guys at work that I work with that are programmers and stuff, and I know they use it all the time. And I keep meaning to go over and going, "Hey guys, can you give me like a quick rundown on
Yeah.
like how this GitHub thing works?" Because I think I would like to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Maybe it's not meant for iPads when they say tablets because you cannot really
Oh,
sideload things on an iPad. You can do that on an Android, I think, pretty easily,
yeah.
but I
And
don't
like if
know.
it's a Chrome browser, I think Chrome's built off of Linux, right?
Uh, you know what? Somewhere out there, somebody who knows what they're talking about is probably screaming right now as
I
we
just
say these things.
I swear I think the Chrome iOS was built off of Linux, but I'm not sure. Not 100%.
Well, in any case, this is something I haven't been able to use yet. I would like to see it on a tablet. I think a tablet is its most natural home, because I don't like a laptop at the table. Not because it's anything wrong with it. It's just there's something about when somebody opens a laptop, suddenly you're in a meeting.
Yeah.
Now I'm at work. Everybody's got their laptops open. And you know what they do with their laptops open at work? They don't pay attention to the meeting. They're
No, and
IMing, they're checking their texts.
Facebooking. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what they're really
Yeah.
doing, but you're not
Yeah.
supposed
That's
to
what
know
they're
that.
doing. Yeah.
But whatever oh, sorry, I was multitasking. No, you weren't multitasking. You just weren't paying attention. Multitasking. There's no such thing.
Well,
Anyway,
to be fair, half the meetings at work, I'd rather be looking at Facebook anyway.
yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to go on a wild tangent here, but what I do, here's how I handle meetings at work. If you're not there when the meeting starts, you can't join.
Hmm.
And if you have something to say, you raise your damn hand. We don't
Hmm.
talk over each other. When I have in-person meetings, we stand up. We literally stand up.
Yeah.
And there is
Stand
no
ups.
rule that says the meeting has to take all the time that you said it was going to take. Because usually, if you're all standing up, people are sick of standing there and they just want to get on with it.
Oh
And
yeah.
when the meeting's over, it's over. I leave or I turn off the browser. It's in you do that for a month or two. You train people, and pretty soon the meetings start getting pretty effective.
I also like the concept of if you are not essential to the meeting, you're not to attend.
No, just go, just leave. Yeah,
Like if the meeting is for like a team and only one person needs to be there and they can convey it back to everyone else, that's it. One person.
yeah, no. I've seen people do a trick that I think is pretty neat, which is they will, I've seen project managers do this. They'll figure out the hourly cost of each person in the meeting and they
Mm-hmm.
will add it up and say, like, this meeting is costing this much money because we have this many people in it.
Dude, I do that. I've done that a lot. I work for the, because I work for the Army. I've been in these huge meetings with all these like really high ranking officials and stuff, colonels and, just SESs and stuff like that. And I'm looking around the room and I'm like, oh my God, this meeting is costing like $20,000 an hour.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so back to this. If you have
Yeah.
a bunch of gamers in the meeting, it's costing about 20 cents an hour. But anyways, this looks like a really cool thing. Like I said, I don't want a laptop. I do want a tablet. I don't know what it is about a tablet that seems appropriate of all the digital tools. You could either have a phone, you could have a tablet, or you could have a laptop at the table. Or I guess a 1990s LAN party desktop with a CRT. Um, if you have a phone, it just looks like you're playing Candy Crush. I don't care what you're doing. That's what it looks like. If you are on a laptop, you've got a shield in front of you. You're not paying attention. If you've got a tablet, you're generally keeping it laying down on the table. It looks more like a piece of paper. I think that's okay. So I would like to try this on a tablet. It looks pretty neat. It's called Scriptorium. Go search Scriptorium PDF Reddit.
Yeah.
Put those 3 words in Google. You'll find it. Give it a try. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Oh, and just real quick, here, real quick. Bert Smith says, so will it be able to print and not be a nightmare? No.
Well, we hope so.
Well, no, because printers suck, and every time I ever try and print anything, I always have problems. So no, I hate printers.
Well, you're just going to relive that Office Space scene over and over again.
Oh my God!
Smash the printer up.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah. All right, next story. This one I really like. This is pretty cool. The Magical Code of Regulations. So this is 499 pages of fictional law governing the use of magic. This is such a cool concept.
It's such a rules lawyer dream.
It is. And I think the guy, Christopher Frigo, he apparently wrote this sort of half tongue-in-cheek, but also half serious. So
it's only funny if it sounds serious, and it looks very serious, which is what makes it funny.
Yeah, well, I was reading some of the comments and some of his feedback on Reddit, like some of the things he was answering back to, and like some of the people were like, making fun of it, not in a bad way, but like in a good way, like as in like, oh, this is awesome, I can now regulate, blah blah blah. And
I saw one person say, like, if they have a campaign in their world, every city, there's at least one city where magic's outlawed, so now they can actually make that a lot more specific.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. So I'm going to read his pitch just real quick. It says, ever wondered whether a wand must be registered before it can be used in public? Or what documentation must be filed before casting a fireball? Curious how many forms stand between you and a legally compliant resurrection? Or whether your familiar qualifies as a protected creature or a reportable asset? That's really cool.
I love it. It just, to think about the mind that creates something like this.
Yeah.
To sit down and just really, is he a lawyer in real life? What's going on here?
Right. He must. I think I'm going to guess that he is.
I understand this level of obsession. Do we have a screenshot of the actual pages here?
No, I saw one. I saw one online, and it basically there's not like a lot of art in it or anything. Like it doesn't look like.
No, there's no art.
Just words.
That's the thing. I bought it. I bought the PDF though because I didn't want to wait for the book.
Okay.
First of all, you're right. It when you open it, it looks like a law book. It looks like something that you would get and put on the shelf in a leather bound room.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: the physical book, the designer did a great job. They chose just the right font. They did everything right. They got the kerning right. They got the leading right. They got the paper right. So it feels like a legal book, but it doesn't feel hard to read.
Okay.
It's enjoyable. Unfortunately, if you buy the PDF, I'm going to say if somebody goes to buy this, buy the physical book, because the PDF, all they did was they took the EPUB and they auto-generated the PDF out of it. So it loses all of its charm.
Okay.
I opened up the PDF, I looked at the table of contents, I flipped to the first couple of pages, and I thought, oh, well, this looks like it's the introductory stuff. I'll keep flipping. And I kept flipping and flipping. I'm on page 250, and it still looks like the introductory stuff. And I realized, oh, this is the book. It just, in digital form, it kind of looks like dog shit. And I'm sorry to say that because it's so well written. So get the real book, because the real book is beautifully designed. Hopefully they'll redo the PDF and make it look better, because it's so fun. It's so fun. I mean, here, I've got the PDF here. I'll try and I'll pick a thing at random. Okay. Let's see here. Here's on page 269, section 2101.3, temporary memory erasure, storage and retrieval standards. A, general rule, no person shall erase, suppress, extract, store, transfer, restore, or retrieve a memory through magical means, except as expressly authorized under this section and subject to the standards set forth herein.
That's awesome.
B, scope. This section applies to all temporary memory erasure, etc., etc., etc. C, temporary character required. C, so page 269, section 2001.3, paragraph C, section 1. Memory erasure under this section shall be temporary unless permanent alteration is otherwise expressly authorized under this code. And it goes on like that. That's basically how the book reads.
That is awesome.
And once you start really getting into it, you're like, the world kind of starts coming to life around you as you see, what they've done, and you get into things on ethical considerations and impact on reality, registration and monitoring of time manipulation spells, general regulations on interdimensional travel. It just goes on and on. It's great.
That is great.
Yes. Did you ever want to know about magical property and zoning requirements? They do have zoning requirements.
So I looked through some of the comments and stuff, and one of the people asked, was he ever going to write fiction and throw this into the fiction? And apparently he's working on a fictional world right now, or a story. He's working on a story set in the world that this book takes place in. So that's pretty cool.
Right. That is beautiful. I'm going to spill the beans a little tiny bit on something we have planned for the future. I'm not going to get into too many details, but this reminds me of another book that was written in 1975, a very obscure book that I'm not going to say the title of, something that we learned about a few years ago, that took a similar approach to this magical code of regulations, took a similar approach to hell, and created a very bureaucratic and very detailed version of it. It had been made in 1975, and we're going to be publishing that probably next year. So I really enjoy these kind of deep world building where it's just, you look at it and you're almost like, this feels real. Did somebody from another dimension drop in and just drop this magical code of regulations on us and scoot out of the way?
Yeah.
It really feels that real.
It's a lot of fun.
It is indeed.
There was another one someone posted, said this was a humorous fictional review, and he says, an unnecessarily comprehensive and deeply inconvenient framework. Several of my long-standing plans now require prior authorization. Glorgon the Destroyer, antagonistic entity of prophetic significance.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I love.
And you know what? If nothing else,
when the community gets it, you know what I mean?
You want this on your coffee table.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna get a copy.
This is the kind of thing. And I know there are a lot of attorneys out there who play D&D. This is the sort of thing, if I was an attorney, I would keep this in my law library, conspicuously inconspicuous, so that somebody would come in and just kind of, with no context, look over at it. What?
And go, what? Oh, you should get Shane a copy.
Oh, I hope he's not listening because this is going to be his Christmas gift.
Okay, fantastic.
This is definitely going to be our lawyer's Christmas gift.
Awesome.
You're a genius. Absolutely right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. All right. Let's do the next one. This one. I know you had to pick this up. These pictures are from you, aren't they?
Yes, these are from me. All right. So, we're doing a little crossover today. This is actually a story that I wrote for the Analog Union newsletter. So anybody who doesn't know, if you're not subscribed to it, we are part of a group called the Analog Union, which is a group of independent publishers, game publishers, who put out a newsletter every week with neat stuff. Sometimes we put promotions like, hey, we have a new product coming out, or we have a new event coming up, or whatever. And sometimes people just write interesting, fun gaming articles. So for this week, I just decided to write a gaming article. And I wanted to do something. We're getting into the world of computer games, but don't worry, it's got an analog bent to it. So I'm going to talk about a game called Eamon. And what you see on the screen right now, if you're listening to us on audio podcast, is the splash screen for the game. Peter, do you know text adventures? Have you played text adventures?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Like Zork or what?
Oh, I can't even remember the names, but I'm pretty sure Zork was one of them.
Yeah.
But I mean,
a text adventure is...
We're talking the 80s, man.
And that's the thing, is they're still around. So a text adventure is just what it sounds like. It's a game where instead of graphics, it's all text. Mm-hmm. And the backstory on this is that in 1979, and yeah, actually here, so I'm going to put this chat up here. Brian's 100% right. He says, Infocom was my life. Okay. Infocom was the king of text adventures. There was, I don't know who said this. I don't know whose quote this is, but they said, your imagination is the most powerful graphics processor in the world.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's so true. Mm-hmm. No movie will ever be as good as a good book. And that's kind of where text adventures lie compared to video games. So the backstory here, in 1979, do you have this photo of the folks from 1979 that we can put up?
I do. Let me go here.
There we go. So in 1979, there was a group in Des Moines. It was a branch of the Society for Creative Anachronism.
SCA.
SCA, yeah. So the SCA started in Berkeley, I believe, with some of the folks that were associated with TSR and later on. And pretty quickly it spread. And over in Des Moines, there was its own. And we have a picture up here of, it's from the Des Moines Register or Chicago Tribune or something. And it gets it a little wrong. It calls them the members of the Society of Creative Anachronistic. I don't know what that means. All right. But anyway, so we have a group of people here, dressed up in their Ren Fair type of things, which in 1979 was a very new idea. Mm-hmm. And there was two people who founded it in Des Moines, the Des Moines version. That was Sherry and Bill Fesselmeyer. And they're in this picture. I'm not going to point them out. Doesn't matter. But they were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they were friends with another guy named Donald Brown, who was a computer programmer going to school at Drake. And they said, wouldn't it be cool if Dungeons and Dragons could be played on a computer? Now, I'm going to give a little context here before I go anywhere else. A computer in 1979 that you could have in your home was very primitive compared to anything we're thinking of now. Yeah. A floppy disk would hold 140 kilobytes. That JPEG that we have up on the screen right now is about 5 times that big. Just that picture. Mm-hmm. And the processing power of an Apple II, I looked up what today has a similar processing power. A television remote is about the same. So you imagine you're trying to write games that are going to run on your television remote.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right. So, but he took the challenge. So Donald Brown took the challenge. And at the time, text adventures were a very new thing. They had been a popular thing for computer programmers to write for each other, over on the mainframes where nobody would ever see one, but only one had ever been sold to the public at this point, and it was a game called Adventureland. That was just a very straightforward, you're standing in front of a house, go north, pick up the sword, fight the monster, and when you're done with it, the game's over.
Right.
So there had only been one ever, and these guys were like, well, what if it was more than that? So Donald Brown wrote a text adventure, and he called it The Wonderful World of Eamon. And in the wonderful later just became the world of Emon. And in it, what was really different was instead of just being a game to play, it was a game engine. So he made it so that when you first got the disc, you put it in and you create a character, okay? And then you go through a little adventure. So far, so good. But
All
when
right.
it's done, you keep your character. It saves it to you save it on another floppy disk,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go and get another adventure, and you take that character through that adventure, and you can keep on going,
Oh my God, dude,
just
that
like
is
D and
he was
D.
ahead of his time because that didn't come to other games till later.
Like a decade later.
Yeah, yeah, he was way
So
ahead of his time.
1979, he's doing this, and here's what was genius about it. He gave it away for free. And he wrote a thing called the Eamon Dungeon Designer so that anybody else could write their own dungeons. And then they gave them away for free. So you could create your character, get a dungeon somebody wrote, and run your character through somebody else's dungeon on
That
your
is
little
awesome.
Apple II. Just an amazing, amazing thing. And so around that time, uh, I was in grade school and I got a copy of it. So here, and looking back, I think it's because I lived in Iowa, right? So I went to computer camp. Somebody brought the discs to computer camp, and I got Emon, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I'd been just starting to play Dungeons and Dragons, and every every weekend our group played, but that's not enough, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sure we all had this experience. You know, you're sitting at home and you're drawing all the maps of your world, and you're rolling up characters that you're never going to play, and you're just like you can't get enough of this, and you want to play more than once a week with your friends. Suddenly, my Apple II computer could run a Dungeons and Dragons game for me.
That's slick.
Now it wasn't, sophisticated because like
No.
we talked about how relatively underpowered these machines were, although at the time they seemed fine. So you only have four stats. You know, all you can really do is fight the monster, cast spells, pick up treasures. There's not a lot of more sophisticated things. But in a way, that's kind of good because you don't want to replace the experience of playing D&D. You just want to scratch the itch.
Yeah.
Because like today, if you want to play D&D and you don't have anyone to play with and you just go on your computer, you can play Baldur's Gate 3 and it's beautiful and it feels a lot like D&D. Or you could even just pull up ChatGPT and tell it to DM for you, and it's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're done, you feel dirty. You don't feel like you really when you're done playing a role playing game around a table with other people. That's a good feeling. You've had a good time with your friends. When
Dude,
you've
I have tried many like different ways to play games, like role playing games and stuff, and nothing beats playing at the table with my friends. Like honestly,
right.
nothing. Not it doesn't nothing else comes close.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, I tried playing World of Warcraft for a bit because I was getting back into gaming, and you get addicted to it and you spend hours on it, and then when it's all over, you kind of feel I'm gonna be crude about it. You kind of feel like you've just had a 12-hour wank session or something. It just makes you feel bad. You're just like, ugh. I just sat here in a chair and just clicked a mouse for 12 hours, and what was that?
Well, here's
You
the
know?
thing. Like you will remember your gaming sessions with your friends. Like something interesting happens. We still tell stories within our group. I don't usually tell them outside the group because it's that's kind of I don't know. It's annoying when you hear people
Yeah.
like, "Oh, my character did this." Within
But
our
in the
group,
group with
in
other
the
people
group,
who were there.
when we're talking to each other, we know each other, and we talk about the stuff that we did. Those memories last, but I don't have any memories of playing video games and stuff
No,
happening. Really, I mean, it's like it's not the same.
mostly I don't. But this
Right.
is one I do, and that's the thing. So, I just like this. So Bert says, it turns out teachers in 1980 didn't like it if you wrote a D&D program for the school computer. I'm sure that was something that happened to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is because Emon lets you write your own adventures and trade them with other people, we were doing that. Like I would sit down and write an adventure and I would give it to my friend Conrad who lived in Storm Lake and he'd write one and give one to me. And then we'd play through each other's adventures and then we'd talk about it to each other.
Right.
Oh, did the bat get you? Yeah. How did you make that bat get me? Oh, so that was kind of neat. And what's cool is, and now we have a picture up here, and you can see on my MacBook screen, you can see what's the first screen of the Dungeon Designer. And this is what's pretty neat. So the dungeon designer that he wrote, keep in mind these discs are small. You can't put a lot on there. So you're not really doing the creative work in the dungeon designer. What you do is you design your dungeon just like you would for a tabletop game. You get your grid paper, you get your pen, you draw it all out, you write where the monsters are going to be, you design your dungeon, and then you go to the dungeon designer app and you just enter it in. So you can see here it says your choices are add a new room, artifact, effect, or monster, or edit an old one, or just show me what I've done so far. So you go in and you create each room, you give them a number, you say where the exits are, you say what's in there, what can happen, et cetera, et cetera. So you're really just entering data that you've already designed. But then when you're done with it, it creates the disk for you. And then what you would do is you would send that disk in to Donald, and he would add it to the list, and he would say, we now got dungeon number 123, 124, 125. And you could go into the little bullet board system and you could see the list of all of them, or you could go to one of the Apple II things. So it was a community that was building itself as it went along. So is that the end of the story? No. All right. So that's fun. That's nostalgic. That's great. But I decided I'm going to go pick this up again. I'm going to see what's still going on out there. And first, I just sat down and I grabbed my emulator because, you know, as you can see in the picture, you can see them behind here. You know, I've got all these Apple IIs and everything, but they're kind of set up like a museum right at the moment. I don't have my office set up with a real one running, although I have one, but you know. But you can run an emulator. So I just ran the emulator and I thought, instead of writing a whole new dungeon, I'm going to see, can I put the village of Hamlet into this?
Okay.
So I grabbed Dungeon Module T1 by Gary Gygax for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, The Village of Hamlet. I skipped a lot of the stuff. I skipped the village. I skipped the top of the moat house. I just took the dungeon level below the moat house. And you know what? I typed it in. I got it all in there. And lo and behold, I can now play through the Village of Hamlet with my Eamon character. A lot of fun.
Shoot, that's cool.
And here's the best part, and this is why we're talking about it today, and here's something people can do. Do we have the next picture, the little collage that I made of all the different stuff? All right, so it turns out Eamon never went away. It never died. It's been continually being developed and done from 1980 through 2026. There is not one website about it. There's multiple. There's 3 or 4 websites about it. So
oh my God.
First thing you can do is you can go to the Eamon Wiki, and it's EAM as in Mary, ON as in Nancy, Wiki. And it's got the history of it, where I got some of these pictures from. It has all the different ways you can play it today. You do not need to have an Apple II. You don't even need an emulator. There are online versions of it written in JavaScript. There are retro versions written for DOS. There's all these different versions. You can play them, and you can find all the adventures, literally hundreds of adventures that the community has written since 1980 and still is making ones to this day. The Eamon Wiki, if you look at the updates, it's right up to now.
Wow.
So there's the Eamon Wiki. The Eamon Adventurers Guild, which was created in 1980, is still there. It's the Eamon Adventurers Guild online, all that stuff. It's just amazing. It's all still out there. And if you're like me, you have probably caught yourself doom scrolling for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, you got nothing to do, you think, or maybe you're just on a break or something, and you start just scrolling through the social media feeds or whatever, and then you just. Instead of that, why don't you go play a text adventure? Just go dip into a dungeon, go hop into Castle Danger, fight a few giant rats and some dragons and some, fire-breathing frogs or whatever you find there, get some treasure, and feel like you've actually done something. So cool. This is my call to people. Try text adventures. They're out there. They're great. They're free, and you can write your own. So go look for Eamon.
Wow. Very cool. Dude, think about the legacy of this. I mean, we're what, 50 years? 50 years,
It has been 56 years since Eamon was created. 57 years since it was created. Which, first of all, that number is insane.
Right.
Wait, no, is that right?
No, not 57. No, 50, 51.
1980, so 80, 90, 2000, 2020, 47 years.
Yeah, 47. That's
I feel a little less old. Only slightly old. Put an onion on our belt. It was the fashion at the time.
Mm.
But yeah, 47 years this thing has been going on, and it's still popular for a given value of popular.
That is awesome. Yeah,
So,
that is really cool. That speaks
yeah.
to their legacy. I mean, imagine you did something and people were still playing it 47 years later. Wouldn't you be excited about that?
I'm gonna send a LinkedIn request to Donald and see if I can talk to him. I want to meet this guy. I took a look. He hasn't been using Twitter for about a year now. For most of us have gotten away from that.
Yeah.
Mostly his Twitter feed was posting his Wordle scores, but it looks like he's still out there developing and doing stuff. Not making anything new. This is his legacy, but what a good legacy it is.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Our last story of the night, the ENNIE Award nominations have been announced.
The what?
The ENNIE Award.
What is that?
Nominees. The ENNIE
Is that
Awards.
like an award show or something?
It is. It's like
Do people care? Is it important?
It's big. I think it's the
Is it
biggest,
now?
right?
Is
I
it now?
believe so,
Interesting.
yeah.
I'll have to look into these.
Yeah. So
I've been nominated for Emmys before. Shut up.
Yeah. I know you know what it is.
I think it is stupid.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the ENNIE Awards.
Sorry, that's no way to start a story.
I know.
Let me take that back. It's damn stupid.
Yeah, we talked about this when we decided we were going to do the Golden Fez. Anything where the fans can vote on things, right?
It's subject to abuse.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't really care for that. But anyway, doesn't matter.
But that being said, there's some really good stuff in there. And there's some Analog Union folks have been nominated for things too. So, I can't poop on it too much.
No. And it's big, it's a big public thing, and they do have good games in it. I mean, give them credit. They do.
No, they really do. There's some really good stuff in there. It's just, I feel that sometimes some of the better stuff doesn't show up.
Right.
Whatever. There's lots of awards. They show up in other awards. Let's talk about the Ennies.
Yeah, so they were announced on July 3rd. This year's lineup highlights standout tabletop role-playing game releases. Big ones are, Darrington Press's Daggerheart, of course. Son of
right off
Oak.
the bat, I don't even think it should be eligible for an award.
Because when you hear ENNIE, now help me on this. ENNIE is spelled ENNIE. That doesn't mean like independent, right? That does not like
no. It stands for N-World.
N-World, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
and I forget what N-World stands for.
But these are not any like ours. Golden Fez is primarily in ENNIE games. We focus on indies. Well, yeah, indie. Sorry, yes, indie games.
Yeah. Well, to me, Ennies sounds like they're saying innies with an I, like a belly button.
Oh, ENNIEs. Oh, I never even thought of that.
Do you know what we should have named our award show the Outies?
The Outies. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Anyway,
so Daggerheart's up. Legend in the Mist, of course, that's a good one. It's up.
Okay, that's cool.
The Crooked Moon, which I never heard of.
Never heard of.
They said they have the leading contenders across major categories. And the live awards will take place July 31st. So that's interesting. So they announced it on July 3rd, and they're going to have the awards on 31st. Man, woo, that's crazy. That's a really fast time to turn around. But I guess if people are just
the
voting
voting's
on
already happened.
Yeah. Oh, it has. Okay.
Well, so I'm friends with somebody who was.
Oh no, wait. The votes do run from July 10th to 19th. Sorry. So go ahead.
Yeah. I guess that's right because it's public voting.
Right.
But yeah, so the stuff comes. They know ahead of time. Like I guess the nomination period is the thing that's the
hard part.
Longer thing with the judges is where. But yeah. So the public gets. I think that's enough time to vote.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to vote on the Ennies and they need more than 2 or 3 weeks to decide. As from a public perspective, come on, it's a vote. Don't take it that seriously. Just pick what you think is best.
Right. I think I was thinking it's so fast to do that because when we do it, we actually, we have a host of judges that actually has to go through all of them, and that takes some time. They've already done all that with the
right. But here it's the public. I mean, and that's the other thing about the Ennies is that the public isn't going through the list of all the things that are on there, checking each one of them out, seeing what they think and voting accordingly. It's a popularity contest.
Right.
Which one have I heard of? Who do I like? Who has been the most uncanceled in social media? Who said the political opinion that I like the best? Which is half the time what it is.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, to do our part, I know we're going to go in and vote for some people, but we'll leave it at that. Anyway.
Well, no, we'll vote for people that we know that are good because it is voting. But I'm just saying that this is why I think, who wins the Ennies is less a reflection on who made the best game and more a reflection on who played the best publicity policy.
I agree. All right, so some of the categories they have. They got a ton of them, but here's some of the main ones. Product of the year, best game. Now, here's what's awesome. Best game. One of our there's one in there that we would like to suggest. Sickest Witch.
Justin Soroy's. Yep.
Yeah, Justin Soroy's is in there.
And so again, this is a weird one because it deserves the votes. It really does. It is that good. But Justin also is that good at getting out there and making friends and those kind of things, which helps it there too, And so I can't really, I feel weird saying that because I almost feel like this is like a dig on Justin. It's the opposite of that. I'm actually admiring what he does. But the thing is that the game is that good, but if he was only a good game designer, I don't know if it would be as visible. So but whatever. That's business. That's life.
And he may be, because I live just north of Baltimore, and Justin, he operates out of Baltimore. I'm not exactly sure where he lives, but I know he does most of his stuff in Baltimore, so I'm assuming he lives there. He is like one of the biggest gaming names down here, which is really weird because I don't really know a lot of people like locally or whatever in the gaming industry, as it were, but apparently I was like, as soon as I started meeting people and stuff, like everybody's like, oh, Justin. And then he runs this thing down called Game Face. He's running another one that he invited me to attend, which I think I'm going to do. It's the end of August. So yeah, he's really well connected, but his stuff is good, man. His art is excellent. His writing is good.
The thing is number one, he's a very organized individual. And, it comes from the kind of work he did before and all these sort of things in his background. So that's a big plus. But the thing that really matters is that he is a very likable person. He's a very nice person who's genuine, so I can think of another example, which I'm not going to name any names, of somebody who's incredibly organized and has their stuff together, but just is not likable at all.
Right.
So you got to have both, you still, there's got to be something there. You got to actually be a human being that people want a human being around. So, anyway, the point is, I really think people should vote for Sickest Witch. Sickest Witch.
And he's also, he's got two of them. So he's got, best game and best rules. So that's cool. There's
I think best game. Well, I mean, you can win for two things, right?
Yeah, you can win for two things, sure.
But I think it's best game. I mean, best rules. I always wonder about best rules. That kind of feels like getting an award as if you go to the Video Music Awards and you get the award for best drummer. It's like, okay, that's nice, but was it a good song?
Does that
best
mean
game?
But best rules, does that mean like I gotta figure out where the lines are, because like we have one of our awards is for best mechanics. I wonder if their best rules means best mechanics.
I think it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's best setting, best cover art. Now this is one I wanted to talk about a little bit. Is it best aid/accessory digital?
Okay.
Digital's kind of, I'm assuming that's one of the newer categories because it's last 10 years probably. That they've created awards for that. I honestly don't know how far back it goes, but
I don't know.
And I had to look up what does that mean? Like what kind of digital things could somebody win on? And VTT's Discord aid, which I'm gonna come back to that.
Okay.
3D printing, which
nice.
Yeah, great. STLs and stuff. Yeah, that's a big thing that's happening. And there's an audio app. So if you want to play music at your table.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Soundboards.
Right. So, but the Discord aid, which is something I just learned about, like, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago. I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently you can really do a lot with Discord that I didn't know you could do. Like it can become your game center. You can do all
Yeah.
kinds
Oh
of
yeah. I
stuff
mean,
on it.
Discord was created for gaming in the first place.
Well, yeah, but I mean, my understanding, and I'm a moron when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I thought it was just like a really good platform for you to like get together with people, share video,
Sure.
maybe put some files and pictures stuff in there. But apparently, no, there's a whole infrastructure stuff you can do with it, and you can buy these packages that you can apparently upload into it, and they've got like dice randomizers, they got all kinds of stuff. So that's pretty cool.
If it does not exist already, there's definitely going to be a VTT running natively in Discord at some point.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, maybe it already exists, and please, out there,
It
folks
might.
who are listening, tell me if it exists already. But if it doesn't, somebody should just build that, because that's
And
so
again,
natural.
that might be what they're talking about. That might be what I don't know. I've never used it. I just seen pictures of people and pictures of people's setup, and it's like, wow, that is actually intense. So anyway,
because the ultimate goal, I think, of any digital tool that's supposed to be used for gaming is it's got to disappear from you. You've got to be. Right now, there's a lot of digital tools that make the mistake of expecting you to focus on the tool and how cool it is, when they should really be doing is getting out of your way. Like this is what Jeff Bezos said when he introduced the Kindle. He said the job of the Kindle is to disappear while you're reading.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be thinking I'm reading on a Kindle. You should be thinking I'm reading a book.
Right.
And any digital tool for your game, you should not be thinking I'm using a cool dice roller app or I'm using a cool VTT. You should be thinking I'm playing a game and, oh, right, I'm doing it digitally. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Anyway, so the 2026 Judges Spotlight winners. So these are the ones that I guess the judges have pointed out, are awesome. I don't know. I know one of these names. You might know more than me. So the first one is Judge William Beeson. I'm just not gonna say judge for the rest of them, but it's William Beeson, Girlframe, and then there's Hans Cummings, which we know.
Yeah, there's Hans. Okay, so Hans is still judging. Okay, I didn't know he was still doing it.
Trash to Treasure, which that's a cool name. Christopher Gath, something about RPG Zine Club Year 2.
Okay. Well, whatever that is, I want to check it out because I love zines. So
okay. Fiona Catherine Taylor Howitt. That's a lot of names. Tacklebox. Cool. And then Tom King, Draconis, The Call of Adventure. And
interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, so go check out the ENNIEs and vote.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how this is happening, but one of our listeners or watchers, I don't know what audience, whatever, community, is somehow 10 minutes behind. So we're getting some stuff in here from the last story, but I like this. They said, I first played the computer version of Adventure. That's what we were talking about in the last story. In the 1970s, when my dad would take me to work. He worked for HP in Cupertino, where the Apple UFO campus is now.
Oh, cool.
So that's neat. Yeah. So Adventure came out in 1978. It was by Scott Adams. Different Scott Adams. It's always a little bit confusing because computer nerds, when they hear Scott Adams, will think, Scott Adams, who wrote all the adventure games back in the 70s and 80s, and everybody else will think of the Dilbert guy who just died. But this is the computer programmer, and he wrote the first commercially available computer game, and so Robolini, played that back in the late 70s when it came out, which is pretty darn cool.
Oh, I just remembered the game I played. So remember you said which game?
Yeah.
It was called Oubliette.
Oubliette. I have not heard of that.
Okay.
Do you know what kind of computer it was on?
It was on a PC, and it was in...
No. A what?
84, 85.
Okay, I don't know anything about PCs in the 80s. I don't. I just don't. So
it was like a 236, I think.
286.
286. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't, because it would have been before the two. It was probably the original 80s, the first.
The actual thing that was called an IBM PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the AT, the XT, all that kind of stuff. I don't know much about them, but there was stuff. There was DOS, basically.
Because we basically played it on my friend's father's computer. So we go over his house, and that was again, his father had it and was playing it.
Well, this was somebody who either his father was worked in the industry, or they were wealthy, because those were expensive computers back then.
He was probably in the industry because they weren't exactly wealthy.
He probably had it because he needed to. It was an investment, because most people at the time had something like a Commodore 64 or a TI 99 4A or an Atari computer. And if you had an Apple computer, you were rich. Unless you were somebody like me, you bought a used one because you wanted the one, but you couldn't afford it. But
Right.
IBM's, that was a whole nother strata of
Right.
stuff. But yeah, oubliette. Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're finished with the stories, I want to let everybody know that we have made a little change to the web presence for Tabletop Weekly. Up until now, if you typed in tabletopweekly.com, you would just get redirected to our YouTube page. And we want to really promote people listening to the audio podcast, because this is a show that lasts for 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how much we have to talk about. That's not your typical YouTube viewing for people that just pick it up and do at random, right? This is a show. I mean, I'd love to hear from people in the chat. Maybe you can tell us how you listen to it, but I imagine a show like this, you listen to it in the background while you're doing something else, because there's people talking about stuff. Or maybe if it's a podcast, you would listen to it, on a long drive. That's how I listen to hour-long podcasts. I listen to it on the drive to work or when I'm going somewhere. Yeah. And so I think the audio version is important. So we made the website now, so you can actually go there. You can subscribe to the audio version on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever you want. There's an RSS feed. We've got the video shows up, so you can see the latest one. It'll be like a 2-day delay because of the way YouTube works. And we got a link to our Discord and a link to our Patreon and all of that. So just wanted to announce tabletopweekly.com is an actual website right now. And we'll add a little announcement area. So when somebody wants to know, like I know that Mike Pickett missed our start time because we've been doing it at 9 and now we're doing it at 8. So we're going to make a little announcement banner on there so that if anything happens in the future, like we're changing the time, we can put it up there. You don't have to rely on Facebook's algorithm to tell you something that you might miss.
Right. And just, for a little bit of clarity, we're getting a little more serious about the show. When we first started this, it was really just us reaching out to our, the people that we, I hate the word fan. I don't know what you call it. People who like our stuff, and we were just trying to make sure that we reached out to folks, just to keep us, on par with our audience and keep us working together on a regular basis. And just, I don't know, that was the whole idea. So the show was really kind of like, what are we going to do with this? And we were like, I'm not really sure. Yeah. And now we've really got it kind of dialed in. So we're getting a little more serious about the show.
Yeah. And you know what? I just put up Brian's chat here. He was saying, I actually watch on YouTube and pay attention. And as a joke, unless I'm multitasking. But actually, that's the other thing I left out, is that there is also this, when we're live and there's people in the chat, that's another way of watching and enjoying. And that's something we want to make sure that we really preserve and keep doing and hopefully, grow that as well. So the way I look at it is the YouTube thing is kind of more, I'm going to show up during the show. I'm going to be in the chat so that I can, say that you're part of the community, and maybe going to show up in the Discord and we're all hanging out together. And the audio stream to me is probably the one that you put on in the background or on your long drives. So I just want to make sure those are all available to people out there. So that's what we've done. We'll get better. We always want feedback on anything. If you think we should dress sexier, whatever, you just tell us.
Good luck with that. But there's and also let's just mention that we've got like we said before, we got Analog Union, which is our mailing list that we work with a bunch of other creators, indie creators, like a little community that we've helped build.
We're being modest. We created it.
We did. Well, yeah, I know, but it is, we've grown.
Let's blow our horns sometimes. It was my damn idea.
I know, but we've grown together and
Hambone really makes it come to life. I'm not making it come to life. He's making it come to life. He's the one that really does that work.
It truly is a community effort, and
it is.
So you should check it out. And the stuff in it's really good. It's not a sales pitch. It's like there's just stuff. Hey, this is cool stuff. Check it out. And
I read it every week because everybody else writes their stuff, and I love it.
And a lot of times. There's free stuff in there a lot of times. So it's not just an advertising thing.
Oh, and Bert says we should have a special episode for ModCon next year. I think we should. Yeah.
We could probably do that.
We are going to be doing a ModCon next year. We don't know where it's going to be held yet. We're still working that out because I think we're going to want to pick someplace a little closer to the food. But all right, we're getting clowned on now. We're getting clowned on now. Brian's saying put a Christmas tree in the background. All right, buddy. I think that's enough for tonight. I think the bartender's cutting you off.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in the Discord if you're part of our Patreon and you got the special secret key. And have a good week, everyone.